Hey guys, so we're gonna make sushi. We're gonna do it a couple different ways this week. But first, before we ever get into a kitchen, you always wanna make sure that your counter spaces are nice and clean. I've already cleaned my counters. I have used a bleach and water solution, which is 1 part bleach to 3 parts water. And then that's gonna clean and sanitize everything. So all of my counters are wiped down and I have different stations laid out for me to work. The first thing that we're gonna do is I've put 1.5 cups of water in here, and I'm gonna let that come to a boil after I add my rice. I am cooking about 2.5 cups of rice, so it'll be more water. Usually that ratio and measurement for that is gonna be 3/4 of a cup of rice to 1 cup of water. So I've already got my water starting to get hot. We're gonna rinse our rice really well. I found some Cooley rice that I've never seen before and I wanted to buy it, so I bought it. So this is sushi short grain rice, but you guys can use regular white rice. It's really about the same thing. So no worries, any kind of white rice will work. You're gonna wanna take your rice and you're gonna wanna rinse it in cold water. And then just kind of use your hand and drain that off a few times. See how milky that water looks? That's gross. You don't really want to drink that or eat that. So you're just going to do that once or twice just to drain off, kind of shuffling it around any extra. And you don't have to get all the water out. It's okay if it goes into the pot. Before I did this as well, I sanitized my counters and I washed my hands. I'm gonna ask you guys the proper technique on how to wash your hands, and you're gonna walk me through those steps, and then I'm gonna show you how to properly wash your hands as well. So I'm just gonna add my rice into my water. If you wanna wear gloves, wear gloves. I like to feel what I'm doing, especially in my own kitchen. So I'm a hands-on kind of person. You're gonna turn that to medium-high. And you're gonna let that come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then you're gonna reduce your heat to low and cover it for about 12 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna throw my bowl in over here. While we're waiting on all of that, we're gonna cut up some veggies. I've got some cucumber, some green onions, I've got an avocado. You can use carrots. I may have my husband look and see if I have any carrots, then I'll show you how to shred those. For those of you that haven't been in our class before and don't know how to shred one. So I've got my little vegetable cutting board and I've got a bowl here to put some extra ingredients. I'm probably gonna grab 4 or 5 more bowls here in just a minute. Let me find a good knife. All right, so I'm gonna take my cucumber. A lot of you guys got cucumbers today from the market. So you're gonna wanna peel those for sure, because those are like pickling cucumbers, so the skin on them is very bitter. This is an English cucumber, so it doesn't matter if the peeling stays on it or not. It's nowhere near as bitter. But those pickling cucumbers or cucumbers out of the garden, make sure you cut some of or peel all of the skin off. I'll show you how to do that too with this guy, because I'm just gonna make some pretty cuts. Use a peeler. You can use a knife, but use a peeler. And just peel your cucumber. If you're using the garden ones, peel all of the peeling. If you're using an English cucumber, you don't have to take any of the peeling off. I'm just showing you some quick ways to get your peelings. So you're gonna take your cucumber and you're gonna cut it in half. So cucumber in half, and then this one's still pretty thick. This one's about the size I want it to be. Take your fingers, guys. Make sure that you're using the claw method. Fingers tucked in, because I can't cut my fingers off if I'm using my knife like this. If my fingers are like this, I'm more likely to get cut. So claw method. This is what the claw method is. You're gonna hear me preach it over and over and over again. Claw, claw, claw. So you're gonna take it and you're gonna push firmly. You wanna probably use this thumb and push firmly on your cucumber. And you're gonna make long, thin strips all the way across this cucumber. And so you're gonna have some nice little strips. Some of my ends are a little thicker. Now this guy, I'm actually gonna cut him in half. I'm gonna hold him and I'm gonna bring this straight down, which was not straight at all. Guys, you're making me look bad today. And then same thing, thin strips. What we'll do is we'll actually cut these in half again. Long, thin strips. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut these. I'm gonna use the bridge method, and that's where my fingers are here, out of the way, and I can just cut those half again. This one's gonna go in my belly. What do I do with the rest of the cucumber, y'all? Nice thin little strips here. All right, I can hear my rice is starting to boil. I'm just gonna give this a quick little stir to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. And I'm gonna put that heat all the way to low. And I'm gonna cover it. So I'm gonna continue to cut my cucumbers here. Do we have enough light in here for them to see? Mm-hmm. Okay. So same thing. Quick, nice, long strips of cucumber. These are the misfits. So it happens. Even chef makes mistakes, guys. All right, so I've got my cucumbers cut up over here to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut up my onions. So you're gonna wanna remove all these yucky, gross parts from the end because they don't taste very good. So just kind of cut those ends straight off of your onions here. That's a good cucumber. I don't want that over there. And then you're gonna you'll see some of your onions have this really funky looking skin. And some of them have dirt inside of them. So you're gonna wanna use and pull that away. Now guys, always save your scraps and save all of your ends and pieces, all your onion scraps, and there's a lesson behind that too. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna peel off all these extra little pieces off of my onions that are the funky little skin pieces that I don't wanna eat. This one still has a couple hairs in there. So that guy looks good, that guy looks good. This guy needs some love. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna kind of line them all up, try to get them as even as you can. You're gonna make a little bunch. Remember that claw method. Knife skills. Always grip your knife good and tight. Thumb here, turn around, and you want your index finger pointed in. Don't hold a knife like this because your finger can slip and it will hurt. So make sure your fingers are tucked in. Fingers are tucked in here as well. And then you're gonna go straight down into those cuts. Once you get higher up into the skin here, you're gonna find that it's a little tougher to cut, and that's okay. So we have our onions here. And then we're gonna have some of these pieces. And what these are gonna do is, some of you guys have heard of scallions. And that's essentially what this part of the onion is. So I wanna remove this part, and I'm actually gonna use it later for something else. I may actually save it for my scraps. But now that we've gotten into our nice little leafy parts, this is where our scallions come from. You're gonna wanna hold this, make your same bunch, and you're gonna wanna cut these diagonally at an angle and work your way straight one down, which I didn't go all the way through. Apparently my knife's not as sharp as I wanted it to be. So these are some nice little scallions that we'll use. Guys, my knives are falling apart here. I'm looking a hot mess. So same thing, just make some nice even cuts for your scallions here. That onion is stout. It's actually making my eyes water, y'all. And usually green onions won't do that. See, even my husband's choking up. Woo! That onion will get you. All right, so I've got cucumbers, I've got some onions, I've got some scallions set aside. Avocado. We're gonna take this guy, we're gonna cut him in half. And you're like, wait a minute, how am I supposed to cut an avocado in half? Because there's a big seed inside of it. Well, you're gonna run your knife all the way across. and you're gonna twist. And then that guy comes out. Take your knife, push on both sides, make an X, and that guy will pop right on out. Now I can't get him off my knife. I can't get him off my knife. There we go. All right, so I'm actually gonna cut my slices right in my avocado. Now that I've got a couple slices started, it's gonna be really easy to just peel the skin right on off. So you're gonna peel your avocado, remove that one piece so it makes that skin looser to pull everything out. And then your avocado will come this way. So you're gonna do the same thing here, guys. You're gonna make nice, thin, little cuts with your avocado. And we're gonna make those a little smaller again as well. Once, just kind of cut them in half, and cut them in half, and you'll have nice thin strips of avocado. We've got this guy over here. This guy's over here. I got an extra one hanging on my knife. Same thing, nice, easy cuts going across. Avocados will stick to your knife no matter how many times you try for them not to. So I'm not technically doing the great claw method here because I have to use my fingers to pull these off. All right, so there's our avocado cut as well. I'll come back and cut the other half of that at a different time. I'm gonna look and see if I have a carrot. But before I do that, I've got avocado on my hands. You're gonna turn on your sink, get your hands wet, a little bit of soap. You're gonna scrub tops and bottoms. Get in between those fingers. Get those thumbs. Make sure you're getting your fingernails. Use this part of your hand to scrub up underneath your nails, front and back. And then you're gonna rinse. Get a clean paper towel or towel. Dry your hands. And always use your towel to cut off the sink. All right, let me see if I have a carrot real fast, guys. I don't know if I do or not. Some baby carrots. We're gonna make them work. So I'm gonna use my peeler, and this is gonna be more for garnish. This is optional, or if maybe you don't want to use avocado or crab meat, you're gonna take this carrot, you're gonna hold it, and you're just gonna make some nice, long, thin shreds of carrot all the way across till you can't hold it anymore. And when you can't hold it anymore, eat it. All right, that's plenty for what I'm gonna show you guys. There's my carrot. All right. I know this rice hasn't been in here long enough yet, so we're gonna wait a few minutes. I'm gonna talk about some of our other ingredients as I chew my carrot. So I've got cream cheese, and you're gonna cut this into strips as well. I've got some sesame seeds. You can use sesame seeds. You can use everything bagel seasoning. That works as well. We're gonna open our cream cheese. Let me unroll all the nooks and crannies here, guys. And open our cream cheese right on up. All right, and then we're gonna use imitation crab, which is gluten-free, and most of the time it's made out of cod, so it's not even a shellfish. Let me see what this one says it's made out of. This one's made out of pollock, so cod, pollock, it's a white fish. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's made with fish. Look, it says it right here. Wild Alaskan pollock. So, whatever, they're reading the ingredients on the back of it. All right, so I'm gonna open all this stuff up so it's ready to use. I'm gonna grab another cutting board. So I'm gonna get another cutting board so I can put my cream cheese. I'm gonna put my crab kind of here off to the side. I've got stuff to roll it. I'm gonna show you guys how to roll it. I'm also gonna show you guys how to form it. And I'm gonna show you guys how to make a little pizza out of it as well. So I'm gonna check our rice because we're getting pretty close. Yep. So I'm just gonna kind of fluff the rice. All the water has cooked out of it. And then I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna put the lid back on it. And I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes. So while that is sitting, we're gonna go ahead and cut our cream cheese and get our crab and everything else out. Guys, I went to some different grocery stores all around and was not able to find the seaweed sheets. So a friend of mine actually gave me these. So these are what seaweed sheets look like, which is the black stuff around a lot of your sushi. So I'm actually gonna lay this here to do one roll. You guys with Miss Greta and Miss Tiffany actually have some seaweed snacks that I found for you guys to try, and that way you're still getting the seaweed experience. If any of you other guys and gals want to try the seaweed snacks, which are actually a lot tastier than these seaweed wraps, let me know. I'll get them to you so you can try them as well. I can't get the seaweed back in the container. So I've got some wasabi. I'm gonna get some soy sauce. I've got my sesame seeds, and I've got my seaweed wrap here. I'm gonna get another cutting board to form rice on, and I'm gonna get a small plate to make our little pizza on. So, all right. So I'm gonna pull my crab legs meat out of here. Normally you wouldn't mix things together on a cutting board, but for what we're doing, they're separated. This is actually in another piece of foil, so they're not actually going to touch or contaminate. If you're concerned of that, you can always fold it up, so that way none of that is. But this is fully cooked, so you don't have to really worry about a lot of stuff there either. I'm gonna grab a small knife to be able to make my cream cheese cuts. Actually, I think I'm gonna just rinse this knife. All right, so I'm just gonna slice it into chunks, and I'm gonna set them down. And just kind of slide them off of your knife. And what you're gonna do with these, you're gonna cut them in half again to make those strips. Cut just a couple more. All right, so there's a few for us to hold on to. Our crab, we can probably cut these smaller as well. Use your bridge method to be able to pinch and hold and just make a cut all the way across. And that just made those, they're gonna fall apart. Maybe not. I'm in a dark little corner here too, guys. You can't really see. So we'll make those a little smaller. It'll stretch it a little further. So just bridge method. Why don't you get underneath down here?
Well, it was darker down there.
And just pull your knife nice and tight, and those will come apart into your strips as well. Let me put on a little more light and see if that helps. So we're just gonna pull those apart. All right, guys. So that's off to the side. We're done with our knife. I'm gonna wash my hands again. All right. Now, this rice is gonna be hot. We got a couple different options to do this. So we can make our roll, we can make our pizza, and then we can make individual sushi pieces. So to make our sushi pieces, I'm going to use this in my hand, which, remember, this is hot. So you may want to wait a few minutes. Yeah, it's actually really hot and not as sticky as I wanted it to be either. So, it's all right, we can fix it, I know how. This is always the fun part about the videos and stuff that we do. You guys get to see when I mess up. So we're gonna kind of just push this rice flat, and we're gonna make it into like a little pancake. And you can use just about any spoon. And we're just gonna push real good and tight. And then slide them right off, which, guys, this is making a heck of a mess. Instead of doing what I wanted it to. Epic fails, guys. Epic fails. It's so sticky. So sticky. All right. I think I'm gonna let the rice cool a little more. Yeah, we're gonna have to let this rice cool. And we're gonna start over. We are. I'm gonna try something a little different too. I'm gonna try a little plain cooking spray on the front and back of my spoon and this cutting board. And then grab some gloves, guys.
What are you doing, Mason?
Plan B. We may end up on plan C, D, E, and F at this rate. Take a pretty good size ball of rice here, and I'm going to put it on my board, and I am going to start pushing with my hands. starting to cool so we can actually work with it now. And you're just gonna push. Make it nice and tight and push. All right. How about if I got a plate too, huh guys? All right. So we're gonna take one of our guys and put it here. We're gonna do the same thing. Put them down on my cutting board, and I'm gonna kind of squish and push. And you're just gonna kind of shape it however you want it to shape. I'm not. It's a fine Japanese art, and I'm understanding why. Oh, that one fell apart. All right, so now that we have a couple little bases, what we're gonna do is we're going to top this sushi. So and this is where you can use all kinds of different ingredients. So I'm gonna grab some cucumber. I'm gonna grab a couple onions. I'm gonna add some of my pretty carrot. And I'm gonna grab a piece of my avocado, or two. My cat just meowed at you guys, did you hear him? He smells the fish. All right, so I'm gonna put, I want a cucumber. I want a cucumber. I want a piece of avocado, because I gotta have two hands. I want a piece of avocado on two of these. Let's do this one. I want to put some of my onions on them, maybe. Maybe I don't. It's up to you. I'm gonna put a shredded carrot across each one. And throw some scallions on my plate. On my plate, I said. And I'm gonna do a couple little pieces of crab. What did I do with my knife? So I'm gonna make some tiny little chunks of my crab that I can't get to stay on there. All right, so there's our first sushi. Has some bang bang sauce in my fridge, so we're gonna use it because I feel like it. That stuff's thick. I don't know if this is gonna work as thick as this is. It's not gonna work like I wanted it to. So we'll use that as a plan B. All right, so you wanna take your sushi and you're gonna wanna refrigerate it so it gets cold and that rice actually sticks. Once we get to that point, we'll re-garnish these with some sauce. All right. So that's one. Let's make a sushi pizza. So, we're gonna take our rice. And I'm gonna place it on my plate until, and you can use whatever size plate you want. Okay, James, you can go. So we're just gonna kind of make a base, a little pizza guy here. And we're just gonna push them in to a nice round pizza shape. All right, so here's our base for a little pizza. Let's cut that guy in half. Now I can't get it apart after I cut it in half and I get my gloves in the way. So we've got our cream cheese. I'm gonna push our crab against our cream cheese. Can't pick up avocado, guys. All right. So, throw some avocado on here. My cat smells the crab, guys. He's losing his mind. All right, so I'm gonna take my cucumbers. And you can use red peppers, you can really use just about anything. Red peppers, sweet peppers, spicy peppers. You can make your sauces, you can add other sauces to it. You can add your sesame seeds here. I'm gonna throw a little of this everything bagel seasoning on it. And I'm gonna use some of this sauce just because I have it. But it's completely up to you. You can use your wasabi and you can use, it's not pretty at all, guys. So here is our little sushi pizza. And we'll put that guy in the refrigerator for a few minutes as well, so he gets nice and cold and easy to slice. And let's attempt this rolling of sushi. So, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take our rice, and we're gonna put this on our seaweed wrapper. I'm going to use my little spoon here and just kind of press it all the way across. Add enough rice to fill in my side here. Now you don't have to use the seaweed if you don't want to. You can just do the rice, and you'll do it on a cutting board or a piece of wax paper. And the wax paper will do the exact same thing as this roller will. So I'm just going to keep kind of filling in with all of my rice here. And just kind of push. This is a very time-consuming process, guys. You can use your hands and press it. Use what you got. Alright, I think that's going to be just about as good as that's going to get. And now we're going to lay in our ingredients that we want. So I'm going to put my cream cheese in. I'm going to put my crab in it. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. So we're going to put our crab. That piece is a little big. I'm going to put our crab in here. And grab some cucumbers. And some avocado. So I'm going to put some cucumber slices. Put my cucumber in there. I'm going to throw a little avocado across the top here. All right. I can't feel anything in these rice-infested gloves. So, and I've got rice stuck to me. All right. Let's do something Chef has never done before. So, with your wax paper, you'll do it the exact same way. And you're just going to push as you roll all the way across, nice and tight. And we're just going to push and let that sit for a minute. And then we'll unroll our little roll that's stuck to the other side. It's all right, we can fix it. Just keep on rolling. All right, we made a sushi roll. Chef's first ever sushi roll at that. You guys have got me out of my level of culinary skills. You have. You guys got me jumping into things that I've never done before. I mean, I kind of have, but not to this extent. I'm gonna dry my cutting board here. We're gonna push. I'm gonna get a good sharp knife. I'm gonna get a good sharp knife, guys. I'm gonna get my knives out. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of move some of this out of my way so I can get to my knives, actual sharp knives. Apparently I don't have sharp knives in my kitchen. Where's my zipper? Alright, let's see. I'm thinking. I think we're gonna use this guy. Leave that to the side. Just make sure he's nice and tight and keep squishing them in. This is where the seaweed comes in handy. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna kind of cut my ends off because they're not pretty. And now we're going to make our actual sushi cuts. All right, let me grab another plate. See what side's prettier. Get it stuck. All right, we'll put this one in the refrigerator too for a few minutes. And guys, we made sushi. It is what it is. See what other challenges you can give Chef to see what she can and can't do. We'll work it out one way or another. So I think our others are just about cold enough to pull out. So I'm gonna set this one in here and we'll pull the others out. Guess I'm a little proud of my first sushi ever. I usually pay people to make this. All right, so let's hit and garnish these plates as well. And you can use your regular sesame seeds. You can use whatever you got. I'm gonna use some of my wasabi here. Throw a little wasabi there. All right, guys. So this you'll just cut like a pizza slice, and these you'll just pick right on up now that they're cold. So the longer you can let those sit, the better they will do. I'm gonna move all my trash and stuff out of the way, and we'll take some decent pictures of everything put together. So let me clean up my mess real fast. I'm gonna finish putting together the rest of my ingredients to make what other sushi I have real quick, but that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. See you in class.